sports fans, Coach Nick here, and welcome to Heat Breakdown. Very exciting game between the Bulls and the Heat. I think we all know that Bosh was a real factor in this game, primarily because he shot the worst percentage of any player in the NBA since 1973, when I was 1 year old. Wow. That said, I looked at every one of his missed shots, plus a couple other key factors in the game, like Ashik being plus 17 with 11 rebounds, and the final few minutes. And I'll show you how important it was that Bosh could not get going. The Bulls hurt the Heat in transition early. However, you'll see that Bosh is limited by only going to his left. Noah's going to sit on that hand, and he goes from being 6 feet away from the basket to about 10 feet on a fadeaway that misses. The Heat run a flex on the weak side by Bosh screening the screener, LeBron James. James gets the shot. The Bulls can't stop the long rebound. That's okay. And here's a shot that Bosh makes 1,000 times in a row, but just misses. The Heat run pinch post with LeBron James. However, Mario Chalmers is in the corner. He should cut to the basket, otherwise his man, Derrick Rose, is stuck in the way of LeBron James. This stalls the offense, there's nowhere to go, so when Bosh does get the open jump shot, there's not much time on the clock to do anything else. Bosh is not very comfortable going to his right, especially through the middle. Here, Noah will foul him. It's a debatable call, but it interrupts his rhythm, and the Bulls are not going to let him get off. The Bulls played very good team defense. You'll see Deng come around the screen hard and stop LeBron James from curling. Now you'll see Noah get in the way of Wade across the lane just enough until Bogus can get through and guard Wade on the post. They do a very nice, tough double team that's very aggressive, getting them out of their position. The only thing I would say is that's a really weak attempt at a charge, when instead he should have been there to put a hand up for Bosh. Doesn't matter though, he misses that shot. A good screen by Anthony opens up the lane for Wade, who gets deep penetration and kicks it for Bosh, who just misses the bunny. Bosh made some bad decisions too. In the high post, they're going to do a split with Wade and James in the corner. What he needs to know is that James is going to curl around the basket. If he goes that way, he's going to almost run right into his own man, and they get a block shot. The Bulls made it really difficult on the Heat's half-court defense all night. On the weak side, Gibson will set a down screen for Deng. First, Anthony needs to pressure the ball a lot more, and then if the screen is set that close to the lane, Bosh has to be closer to his man. And lastly, Wade should be coming over on the weak side to help out on that rotation. On this possession, Bosh will have almost the entire right side to go one-on-one, but he's just not comfortable going to his right and ends up taking a 16-foot fadeaway out of the lane. Watch what Noah does to take Bosh out of this play. He pressures, he tries to front, and just gets Bosh to catch the ball a lot farther out than he wants to be. That's his one make. Here's a play that really helped the Heat. It got a foul on Boozer. What do you guys think? Is this an offensive foul? Is that an elbow? I do know that he broke his nose once, and it might be pretty sensitive since then. However, it seems like he's acting a bit at the end. Let me know what you think. Again, watch how physical Noah is with Bosh in the low post. He bangs him, he bodies him, it doesn't let him get off, and he fouls him instead of letting him get an easy bucket. More good Bulls defense. Watch Kyle Korver take away the pass to Wade, literally just deny it so they can't get it there. Now, Noah is fronting Bosh, making it hard for the entry to come in. When he finally gets it, there's only 8 seconds on the clock. They know he likes to go baseline, they cut him off, and he takes a long shot with a lot of pressure. First off, Wade is going to screen twice in a row. This is great and gets them a layup. However, Bosh completely blows it with the right hand. The Heat settled into some rudimentary offensive plays where the ball simply had to go to certain players. But what happens against a good defensive team when they take those passes away? You have 5 seconds on the clock, you got to do a screen and roll, and there's Bosh having a rough night, having to shoot a really tough shot. A lot of Bosh's problems were related to what the Bulls were doing to him on defense with pressure and keeping him off balance. But there were a lot of shots he simply just missed. Here, you'll see him go to his right where he's still not comfortable there and misses a relatively easy layup. The Heat begin to lose control of the game even though they're up by 8 because their offense stagnates. Here they have Bosh against Carlos Boozer. Do they go down low on the right block where Bosh is devastating? No, they settle for an outside jump shot on a night when he's already missing a ton. It's a 6-point lead now, and the Heat desperately need a basket, and they have a chance to get Bosh down on the low block, but they don't. They have him run instead a high screen and roll for Wade, and they get a block shot by Ashik. Again, Boozer is guarding Bosh, and they don't go to him on the low right block. Instead, they pick and pop. He's already having a rough night, and he misses another outside jump shot. Here's a bad out-of-bounds play. The spacing is terrible. I don't see why Wade has to hand the ball off to Chalmers like that. And anyhow, when they swing the ball around, Wade is going to screw Bosh by not shooting that shot, forcing him to take a shot with no time on the clock. Here he attacks from the high post, but can't turn and get all the way to the right-hand side for a layup and has to shoot another fadeaway. And at this point, Bosh's psyche is probably so screwed up that it won't matter how open he is on the perimeter. He gets a screen and roll with Wade, and when the ball comes back to him, he could probably try and take Boozer to the basket, but he makes that shot more often than not, but not tonight. Asik had a plus 17 plus minus rating and had 11 rebounds. I looked at all of his rebounds, and I noticed something a little startling. I'm wondering if you can notice it too by watching all these freeze frames juxtaposed one after the other. Let me show you again then. There's exactly one Heat player anywhere near the basket whenever they take a shot. This is not good offense for the Heat. Asik was a difference maker. Watch his hustle on his pick and roll as he stops Wade from getting to the basket. Then he'll track down the long rebound at the perimeter, throw a nice outlet pass that eventually leads to a Bulls layup. By simply pressuring Dampier out there, he gets a key offensive charge called on him. Let's get to the fourth quarter. The Heat will run a nice double screen on the weak side for Dwayne Wade. He takes a little too long to get around, but then you'll see that Derrick Rose will go for the fake like he likes to and leave his feet. But watch Bosh. He'll back up into the corner instead of sliding to the basket. This is the guy who's in the midst of the worst shooting slump of anybody since 1973. Down the stretch, they isolate for Rose, but what's Noah doing out by the three-point line? It lets his man get in the way. They miss the shot, but watch, Noah gets in there and keeps the ball alive, and Deng somehow gets that loose ball. On the reset, Rose gets to go one-on-one, mano-a-mano on Wade, and he pulls up and knocks a J down in his face. The Bulls put Boozer on the bench because they need defense in this situation with Gibson. Watch how Gibson comes over and helps on Wade and makes Wade make an impossible shot at the fadeaway along the baseline. Here's some good defense by LeBron James as he denies Rose the ball for several seconds. This gets the Bulls enough out of sorts that they don't get into the set they want to run, and when Rose finally gets the ball, he decides to ISO on LeBron James, but then he'll bail him out by taking a long jumper with a lot of time left on the clock. Notice how there's three Bulls going for the offensive rebound, and now there's nobody back to help out on LeBron James as he can barrel to the basket and knock Rose over. For the game, tied, Rose on top. If he penetrates and your man is one pass away, you have to stay home. Wade instead decides to help out instead of just stepping toward him, and he's too late to get to Deng, who nails the easiest three-pointer in the game. The most confusing part to me was with 16 seconds to go, an eternity in an NBA game, they opt to shoot a three-pointer on top instead of getting a quick two and then fouling. And the shot they got wasn't even a great shot. There was no screen set for him. It was a really difficult going back to his left fadeaway, and it misses, and the Bulls win the game on free throws. So there you have it, folks. Without Mike Miller, there was no production from anybody else besides the big two of LeBron James and Dwayne Wade. So what that might tell other teams is simply shut down Chris Bosh and you're going to have a very good shot at winning the game. That said, there was a moment there, or a long moment, or a big stretch you can call it, where only LeBron and only Wade scored. Nobody else in the Heat in the second half scored for almost the whole second half. It's not going to cut it against a very good Bulls team. Well, thanks for joining us. Stay tuned for a lot more from Heat Breakdown. Our hiatus is over, and we're going to be breaking down a lot more Heat games for the rest of the year. So don't miss it. Subscribe, tell everybody you know about us, and don't forget, at Heat Breakdown, it isn't a channel, it's a conversation.